11th victories with 2 school board members, Matt Hunter and Zach Marco, who currently serve on the Anoka Independent School Board. I'm also a full-time middle school social studies teacher in the Catholic education system. Our campaign has organized this rally as a wake-up call to conservatives around our state. In recent years, our state has been under attack. Our schools are failing in academics. Teachers can't teach anymore due to classroom disruptions, cell phones in classrooms, and the presence of political narratives being formed on students in class. Our state flag and state seal have been replaced without the consent of voters. Our current state flag embodies the history and significance of our state's history. Things like native erasure, settler erasure, and historical revisionism need to be confronted head on. Today, it is the state flag. Tomorrow, it can be cities being renamed, such as St. Paul. Bills are being introduced to make Minnesota the sanctuary state, to give driver's license to illegal immigrants, and to put 2 high school students with voting power on every school board in the state of Minnesota. This insanity needs to stop before it's too late. We aren't going to have a state soon if these trends continue. Our speakers today will be addressing many of these topics and more. We must take action if we are to take the state house back this year. We need your help. It's our job to save our state. If we don't do it, who will? Our first speaker will be Alex Small. Alex is running for Legislative District 32B, which includes the communities of Blaine and Lexington. Please help me welcome to the podium, Alex Small.
All right, thank you everybody for being here. We're going to encourage everyone to come more towards the center and bring it in a little bit. I know we're all Republicans, we like our space, we like to have our freedom, that's why we're here. But try to come in a little bit, let's get involved. So my name is Alex Small. I'm running for Minnesota House of Representatives, District 32B, which is parts of Blaine and Lexington. So the reason I decided to run is because I saw the direction our state was going, and it wasn't a good direction. We all know that. That's why you're here. You came because the Second Amendment rally is here. You came because the Save Our State rally is here. You came because you are freedom-loving Minnesotans, freedom-loving Americans who want to see our state live up to its potential instead of going in the direction of California. Does anybody here want California in Minnesota? No! We do not want California here. They can have it. We don't want it. We want Minnesota to remain a great state that we all grew up with. I've lived in Minnesota my entire life, and I don't want to have to move because of ridiculous policies that make it impossible to live here. I plan on sitting around, I think fighting a fight, and I hope all of you plan on doing the same. And we need everybody to get involved. Talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk to your family members. If they're Minnesotans, even if they're not in Minnesota, tell them how important this election is, because we have to win this election. We saw it seem like the last year and a half has been with a uniform Democrat trifecta. We've seen the ridiculous things they've been passing, and we need to put a stop to that right now. So I'm only going to take another minute or so and let you talk to some of the other candidates. You'll hear more from me later. But again, my name is Alex Simone. I'm running for the Minnesota House of Representatives 32B, and I need you all to support your candidates. Get out there, vote, get your friends to vote. We need to save our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Our next speaker is going to be State House Representative Pam Altendorf from Senate District 28, which is the Red Wing area. Please help me welcome to the podium Pam Altendorf.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out tonight. This is so important. And I want to say a great big thank you to Alex Small for running. Let's give him a round too far. So this truly is a physics problem, a mathematical problem. And what happens when the pendulum goes way too far to the one side? It's going to come back. So the only question is, how hard is that going to swing back? And we need to be very thoughtful and deliberate here in Minnesota, so we are helping candidates in those swing districts to win. In some of our districts, perhaps the person in your district, the Republican, maybe won at 60% or 70%. And this is going to be more important than ever that you are, let's just call it adopt a district. Adopt a district. Find those close races. Do what you can financially to support them. Contact their campaigns. Walk in parades with them. People win elections. In my race, there can be a lot of money spent against you, but there's nothing that beats feet on the ground, people working, going door to door to help you. And it's a big impact, so don't ever think that you can't make a difference.
Help us long shots too.
So I want to say, like I said, the pendulum has gone too far. When I'm talking to people all the time, I'm talking to people and they'll say to me, I'm a moderate, I'm an independent, and some have even admitted, I am a Democrat. This is not what I voted for. This is too far. And I want us to claim the majority. I know it's been a little depressing the last year for a lot of Republicans, or if you're a financially conservative person, to see our state of Minnesota waste a $19 billion surplus, raise our taxes $10 billion, to increase our budget 40%. They went too far. And we are the majority. We need to start claiming the majority. They went too far on spending. They went too far on sanctuary state, paying college for illegal immigrants, paying health care for illegal immigrants. Our school systems are suffering. It's not difficult to figure out that when you're flooding the system with people, the illegal immigrants, when we're flooding the system, that is going to put a burden on our healthcare systems, our schools, and our government. So I want you all to get out there, help a candidate, adopt a district, and spread some hope in your district and let them know that these races are in play and we are here to win this year in 2024 and bring back the House. Thank you.
Thank you, State Councilor Representative Dan Alton North. Our next speaker is going to be State Senator Eric Lucero of Senate District 30. Please help me welcome to the podium State Senator Eric Lucero.
Well, 2 rallies in one day, this is a first for me, but nevertheless, I always appreciate people coming down to the Capitol to be involved because our way of life requires people to get involved. Our way of life requires people to stand for truth. Our way of life, the core of our republic, is under attack by those who are trying to usher in a radical, progressive agenda. As Representative Altendorf just mentioned, a handful of items, there is a list of hundreds of changes, radical transformations that they're ushering in the state of Minnesota. And those policies are crushing Minnesotans across the state, individuals, families, and businesses. Gas, groceries, the cost of housing, the cost of child care, and many other things are skyrocketing as a direct result of those who are ushering in big government wanting to micromanage the lives of free people, of individuals. So I don't know if you were here in the last rally, but I brought a series of signs, and I have a few with me now as well. And so one of those, I very much appreciate the great flag of the state of Minnesota. Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, this radical progressive agenda set up a process that sought to shelter them from accountability as they usher in a change in the flag. So, I have this sign printed up. Still my flag. And I know this is shared by many across the state. One of the things they're doing is trying to erase history. They're trying to prevent the current generation from learning the realities of the past so that we don't repeat history. We don't repeat the mistakes of the past. And ensuring that that does not happen, that we don't repeat history, the only way to ensure is to make sure the present generation is aware of the past, not erasing it. Yes. Another area that's having a direct impact on Minnesotans, as we are contending as good people across the state, hardworking taxpayers, are contending with the skyrocketing prices of gas, groceries, housing, child care, and many other things, you have this radical progressive majority that is using taxpayer dollars and giving them to benefits to fund illegal foreign nationals. So the question becomes, should seniors and veterans be ahead of the line for illegals? This is common sense. We have seniors, veterans, and others who are legal citizens, are contributing to our great republic, and yet they are being forgotten. They're being cast aside by the majority so that dollars can instead go to illegal foreign nationals. It is an amazing, convoluted way of thinking. But why is that happening? One of the contributing factors is we have a federal government that is derelict in its chief responsibility of enforcing the law and protecting our borders. And you have those in the executive branch at the national level that they revel in thumbing their nose at the law, at their responsibilities, and law-abiding citizens, and opening the floodgates so illegal foreign nationals that also include those that seek to do us harm are allowed entry into this country, posing a safety and security risk to law-abiding citizens that are trying to raise their family and do the best they can in this current day. And it's shocking that that continues to be allowed to happen. And then lastly, there are those in this state that as they open their arms wide, welcoming illegal foreign nationals, they want to promote sanctuary cities. Is there a difference between citizenship and illegal? There should be a difference. But there are those in power that are seeking to not just erase the distinction between citizen and illegal, they are seeking to force citizens to fund the lifestyles of illegals with benefits that they should not be getting. Thank you everybody for coming out. I know there's a number of candidates here as we work hard to take this state back. Thanks so much.
Thank you, State Senator, for that. Our next speaker is going to be State House Representative Paul Novotny of Legislative District 30B, which includes the communities of Elk River. Please help me welcome to the podium State House Rep Paul Novotny.
Thank you for the invitation. I was not planning on being here today, so I do not have prepared notes, so I will just say briefly, if you're a movie fan, this election in 2024 reminds me of the movie The Patriot, when in the final scenes, the character played by Mel Gibson runs into the line of soldiers that are retreating, and he grabs the flag and says, "Stand behind me. We stop here, we go forward from here." 2024 has to be the year that we stop the retreat and we go forward. We need leaders that will do that, and I believe that we have some very good leaders here that will help that, and I hope that you back them and help us along the way so we can get this state back going the way we should be going. Thank you for being here.
Our next speaker is going to be State House Representative Marie Perryman of Legislative District 14A, which includes the community of St. Cloud. Please help me welcome to the podium State House Rep Marie Perryman.
All right, I'm going to go this way so that I don't have to stand on a stool, and I'm short anyway. So first of all, thank you for being here. That shows that you really care about your state, because it's a Saturday, right? You could be doing many other things, but you care to come here and see your state, whether it was for the Second Amendment or now we're talking about the flag. You are caring, and we need that fight together, because we need all of us together to win the House back. And before you leave today, I'm going to have in your head, win the House back. Win the House back. Come on, everybody, win the House back. Win the House back. Okay, because that's what we need. That's what we need. I like yelling. That's good. We have to have a loud voice because we're the minority in our group. So the louder I speak on the floor, the more people pay attention. And that's what we have to do as Republicans. So we're talking about the flag. And in democracy, right, there's always an avenue to give people the right to vote. That did not happen with the flag. But the Democrats silenced our voice on voting for the flag. And the point of a process, they just watched. And we could not have any input that mattered most. That's what they did for this flag vote. The commission that wasn't given enough time, the commission was not given enough time to do it. Plus, the commission audit was, I don't even know if there was only one legislator, so we don't even know who was the commission who created it. It was 4 months long, and it was rushed too fast. Republicans believe Minnesotans deserve to have a final say-so through a vote on acceptance before a new flag flies over them now and for generations to come. Do you believe that you should have the vote if we change the flag? All right. Do you like the current flag? Yes! What was wrong with the current flag? I have no idea. And they don't either. They just took their power and powered it in, and hopefully, I know it's probably a lost cause, but when people ask me, will we get something done, I said, all I have left here is hope. When I'm in the minority like I am. So we want to pay attention to when they start jamming things down our throats. And please, again, win the House back. Win the House back. Win the House back. It is going to take all of us in the next election, because 2 years is almost done. Our 2-year sessions are almost done. So where's the puck going to go, ladies and gentlemen? These votes they took these last 2 years have intended consequences, and we're going to experience them in a year or 2 years. But we need the House so we can fix some things and put some guardrails on it and maybe try and change some of the things. I'll bring up family paid leave for any business owner here. is an item that will destroy businesses. And what is it? It's a mandate, again, from our state government, a mandate telling business owners, and I have been a business owner, lived in St. Cloud since 1999, and I think I do pretty damn well with what I do with my employees, and I don't have any complaints. But now they're going to say the bad actors and put a bill in and force us from one employee to no matter what, a 0.07 tax on every employer is going to have to pay. And now they're saying that's not enough money. So they're going to change the goalpost again. Goalposts keep on changing in our legislature, and you can't even keep up with it. So again, we'll need all of you back in November, and I'm just going to back up a little bit. I heard I had some time. Is they want a full-time legislature. Can you believe that 12 months we're going to do this? I can. And you know what? At our side, the Republican side, there's a lot of business owners, there's teachers, there's people that have other jobs. And there's a reason why we don't have a full-time legislator here, because we come back home and work with you guys. We work with our constituents home. We're the voice of them, and we have to hear the things. And there's not, I think there's a total of 8 states that have that. But if that's what they want, because good people like myself, and other good people will have to stop being legislators because they have no jobs to go back to. And isn't that a shame that the intended consequences is that you're going to have a bunch of advocates running your state? It's wrong. Also, I'm going to bring up the reckless spending. We have had freaking reckless spending since we came in the office a year ago. $17.5 billion. Poof, gone. Did you feel it? Did you feel any of that money? And then also $40 billion in new fees and taxes. That's what you feel. That's what you're going to feel. You're not going to feel the billions of dollars we already spent, but you're going to feel the taxes as we have to fill the coffers again so we don't have a deficit that's predicted in 2 years. So that's reckless spending. Another reckless spending. $730 billion if you look at across the street at that construction site. $730 billion. How many houses do we purchase with that? How many homeless people can maybe have something? How many of anything that are suffering today, senior citizens, children, how many people could that help? But instead they have to build a palace. And we didn't want that. We didn't want that at all. Yes, there's some mold in our ducts over there, but I know how to fix that. You just kind of clean up and you go at it. So that's another one. And then there are voting increases in salaries for bureaucrats, members of committees. It's just ridiculous the money they're spending. Reckless, and we got to take that pocketbook back to benefit the real Minnesotans all over. Also solved on crime. You saw the Second Amendment, maybe you did the rally before us. In the new gun bills, they're just going to reward the criminals. It's not going to protect the law-abiding gun owner. It's just another ploy in their toolbox of intended consequences. Some people want to say, well, that's unintended consequences. No, and it's intended consequences, and where the puck is going to go here in Minnesota, we have to stop that. And again, the harder line on criminals is needed. Do you feel safe walking out? Well, I'm not going to say that question because I live in greater Minnesota. We're still pretty good. But don't you want a safe neighborhood for your kids to play in the backyard still? When the street light comes on, you run home because you know you're going to be home then. What happened to those days? Well, we've given more leisure and more leeway to criminals. And we're not holding them accountable. Our judges are not holding them accountable. Instead, look what happened in Burnsville. The police have to be on guard more than a criminal because they can't do something wrong because then they're the ones that are going to get into trouble from trying to fix a criminal stopping a criminal from doing a crime. We have to get tougher on public safety, and we also, God bless our public safety. If anybody's a policeman, EMS, everything, and veterans, please give that group an applause because they run to save our lives. They run onto our backs, and yet they're always the ones that are good for doing something. And the numbers are going down. In my area of St. Cloud, we're down 11 cops. policemen. And that's a lot in a small community like that. So let's rally behind them. When you see a policeman, EMS, I encourage you to say thank you. Shake their hand and say thank you no matter what, because they truly do appreciate that. So I'm going to conclude that this is my first session, but as I said earlier, where we need to go as a rally and a team together, not only save our state, but we need to win the House back. And through all good ways, no corruption, but win the House back, and that's going to take everyone's vote, and it's going to take you telling your neighbor that says, what's so wrong with Minnesota? And they may be a Democrat, highlight like the top 3. And because I'm going to tell you, I don't think the Democrat Party is the DFL anymore. The DFL was a good party, I agree, but now it's just turned so negative. And so we're doing irresponsible things and doing things that we can't sustain, and we're spending more money, and they're coming now. They're coming for our guns, they're coming for our kids, they're coming for our senior citizens, but your pocketbooks, because they're coming for your wallets as well, and we're going to be the ones that are going to be in 2 years when we win the House back blamed. But you guys, please, you have long memories. Remember who brought this agenda on, and it is this past 2 sessions that are just unreasonable. So what did I say? Win the House back. Win the House back. Win the House back. What did I say, sir?
Win the House back!
Yeah! So come on, guys, join me and get the House back and help me succeed with you. I'll be there in next session. Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you very much for an amazing speech. Our next speaker will be a candidate for Legislative District 14E, which includes the other side of the community of St. Cloud. Please help me welcome to the podium State House candidate Sue Hack.
Oh, that Representative Perryman is a tough act to follow. I don't know if I can even get half my hands on fire as she is. But I love her. She's a great state rep for our area in St. Cloud. The Democrats hold a trifecta, and it must end now. I am ready to unseat Dan Wolgamott of 14B because he does not represent the values of hardworking Minnesotans. Minnesotans want to live freely and safely without the heavy-handedness of liberal government. We want our families and businesses to flourish and our first responders to be valued and respected. The Democrats are not showing respect for the good people of our state. That crazy new flag is one tangible example. Had we even been asked whether we needed a new flag, it would have stopped in its tracks, right there. We do not need a new state flag. It's ridiculous that a 13-member committee made that choice for all of us. The thought of making Minnesota a sanctuary state is offensive to hardworking Minnesotans. We cannot become a haven for illegals. Immigrants need to come as our own families came long ago, legally. Democrats are not respecting the will of the people. The Democrats' unlimited spending is unsustainable and must stop. Do we really need the new building being constructed right to our side? I don't think so. I want to work for you to lower all taxes. I also want to reduce regulations so businesses and families can succeed. We must protect our Second Amendment rights. Attacks on the Second Amendment are direct attacks on our freedom and our protection. These attacks are a real threat as Democrats make it harder and harder for Minnesotans to exercise their constitutional rights. Tim Walz is anxious to sign any anti-gun legislation that comes across his desk. Anti-gun laws have proven to be counterproductive, as you all know. And as you know, cities with the highest crime are all run by anti-gun Democrats. Violence flows through their cities and law-abiding citizens are left defenseless. That will not happen when we bring balance back to our state legislature. I will fight to support our law enforcement agencies to get criminals off the street and to remove pro-criminal people like Keith Ellison and Mary Moriarty. Public safety is a top priority. We must make our streets safe. Families and life at all stages need to be protected, and I will work hard to do just that. According to a press release by the Minnesota Department of Education in August, 50.1% of students who took the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessment and the Minnesota Test of Academic Skills are not proficient in reading, and 54.5% are not proficient in math. It is time we return education rights to parents. We can no longer allow liberal teacher unions and activist instructors to control our students' education. True leadership needs to happen on the local level through locally elected school boards. Parental involvement in education needs to be encouraged and protected. The sacrifices of homeschooling families must be respected. As we look forward to the beauty of a balanced legislature, we can also hold our elected officials to a higher standard and not let them get away with DWI and burglary while still holding office. Isn't it time that Minnesota is ranked #1 for more than turkey production? It has been an honor to be with you today, and I'm excited at the possibility of serving in the House. One way you can help me is by giving to my campaign. I'm sure you're aware of the PCR, where you get $75 back per person. It is a waste of taxpayer money, but I think we should take full advantage of it nonetheless. I have a donate button on my website, fforhouse.com, that's fforhouse.com, and I have postcards here with a QR code that will take you directly to my donate button on the website. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with all of you. And I thank you, Mary. Let's win in November.
Thank you very much, State House candidates. Our next speaker will also be another State House candidate, Scott Hasselgrave, in the Legislative District 67A, which includes the communities of St. Paul and East Josiah. Please help me welcome to the podium, State House candidate Scott Hasselgrave.
Joshua, thanks everybody for showing up today for this rally. We do have to save our state. A lot of the issues have already been talked about. The flag's been talked about. The real flag is being supplanted. But nobody's mentioned, why do they really want to plant a new flag on our Capitol on Flag Day on May 11th? They want to symbolize conquered territory. That's what a flag does. And the trifecta just wants to dominate and then show that domination. Just like that forfeiture of the 3rd Precinct in East Minneapolis in 2020 showed a big signal around the country for others to follow. It's sad. Another thing they've been doing all over is brainwashing our kids into hating themselves. So it'll be easier to convince them then that they're in the wrong body and then they'll submit to some medical malpractice mutilation. But now this year they want to make a sanctuary state here. So if any kid comes and runs away from family in another state, they'll protect them from their own parents, even if there's a court order in that other state that has already determined which parent is actually the harmful parent. So what are they really after? They're after all of our tools to stay independent, right? Going after our churches, our families, even they want to push a bill through this time, so you can't even paint your house without a paint contractor, or a paint contractor as an advisor, or what would we have to do to get more than a gallon of paint? Smuggle it from Wisconsin? And they want to do something similar with copper, with the excuse that people have been stealing the wire out of our street lights in St. Paul here, and then recycling it. What is copper? That's our infrastructure in our homes, our plumbing and our electricity. You can't buy anything at either of the home stores without their permission, and they just want to control everything you do. This year they also pushing through in a human rights bill. Sounds nice, right? But they're giving extra rights to some people while they're taking away your traditional First Amendment religious liberties. so that you can't say no to people. That's our boundaries. You can't say no to people that might infringe on other people's liberties. Liberty is cool. Liberty is a wonderful, awesome thing. As long as your liberties are not infringing on other people's liberties. That's the whole thing that makes America work. Not stepping on other people's toes. Not hurting other people. Not abusing other people. That's why we have a Constitution. That's what our boundaries are. And that's what they're after. Left and right. They're after the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, privacy. Gee, if you have rental property, there's an inspector that'll come through every year or 5 and look in the darkest recesses of your closet with a flashlight to see what's in there if there are any explosives, like maybe you have something related to that Second Amendment. It just goes on and on. They're attacking our rights. Why? Because they don't want us to have any rights. They only want the elitists to have rights. And they do it with exploiting empathy for whoever's screaming the loudest about the money that they steal from you. So we just have to, take back that house so we can just reaffirm and reestablish and restore boundaries, common sense, healthy boundaries against abuses. So help us support all of these good candidates that have already spoken, and let's just save Minnesota. Thanks.
Thank you, St. House candidate Scott Hasselgrave. Our next speaker is the candidate for Legislative District 35B, which includes the communities of Coon Rapids and Andover in the North Metro Twin Cities. Please help me welcome to the podium State House candidate Steve Pape.
Thank you. Well, I'm not an accomplished public speaker, but I've spent a pretty good career as an engineer, so I did what they do. I started out with what are the requirements we're trying to fulfill with some of these changes that are going on. And that's a rabbit hole to go down. What I would look at with flag design in particular, it's sort of like there's a bunch of other government entities that are changing flags to include an 8-point star. And I thought, that's really interesting. Why would that be? Well, it turns out that 17 different bodies have all thought this 8-point star makes sense. In fact, it was so pervasive that there was a Marine Corps intelligence officer who started looking into it to see what the heck's going on here. And I would say, my simple perspective is, why are we trying to eliminate our heritage? We have a flag that represents Native Americans, farmers, industry, agriculture. They're all gone. Let's replace it with the blue background with a star. And that 8-point star has quite a colorful history for those of you who don't know. That 8-point star has existed for literally thousands of years. In the past, it's been used to denote deities, idols, gods. It's been used to symbolize cults. And I'm kind of like, I'm not sure this is really exactly what we'd like to have here. And some people even say that it's indicative of certain religions, which, of course, the state would not want to focus on a specific religion. So there's some problems here with this design. And I found it ironic that the flag is blue on blue, and land 10,000 lakes. There's not a lot of blue water around here. So I was kind of thinking, that's supposed to represent the water. And I'm like, there's a bunch of things that just seem intuitively wrong. So I started asking the future constituents in my district, what do you think about this? Probably half of them said, why would they do it? And the other half had specific points, like some of which I was just mentioning. Why would they do it? And why would they do exactly what they did? So the whole thing doesn't seem to hold together well. It either is not well thought out, or if it's well thought out, it's thought out by somebody who's not sharing what they're planning to do with this flag. So, at any rate, from the flag, let me shift to some of the other great ideas that seem to be coming up. One of them, which is sanctuary cities and states. Did you know Minnesota has 8 sanctuary cities right now? And I found that to be surprising. For a city government or a state government to adopt this sanctuary policy pretty much puts them in league with people who are breaking the law. We have laws about illegals crossing the border, and in fact, we have laws about people aiding and abetting someone who's breaking the law. And so I look at this and I say, good grief. If the state says it's okay to break the law, but if somebody on J6 yells in outrage, that's not okay. That starts with, like, some people use different words to describe it, but you could describe tyranny as one of those words. It's kind of like when the government says it's okay for us to do, but it's not okay for you. And it's not okay for you to talk about it either. And so I kind of look at that, and I got some serious problems with that. And the other big issue is the whole idea of issuing IDs. Seriously, we also have laws. And by the way, all these laws were approved by our representatives, our legislators. So if the state or the city throws our representative government aside and says we're going to do it our way, that once again, that goes back to kind of like, looks a little bit like tyranny to me. The government saying, we don't care how you feel about it, we're going to do what we want. So I have a lot of problems with this, and with the sanctuary ID, and particularly the ID issue. That ID indicates citizenship to a large degree. And the government will say, no, it doesn't. But everybody knows that when you present that government photo ID, the assumption is you're a citizen. And we know good and well that's not what the intent is. However, that government ID will give you the right to vote even if you're not a citizen. And that is what I think the intention is. I think what we're doing here is taking roundabouts to get at how do we get votes that are really not legal votes, but nobody can say they're not legal votes, so we did it anyway. So I have a lot of heartburn with what's going on. And I also have discovered that my constituents in 35B have the same sense of we gotta do something to get this back under control. The state government and many city governments have just run amok. We need to get back to our representative form of government that made the state great and what it is in the first place. So I'm standing strong for state government and for city government. I'm standing strong for doing what made America great. And with that, I'll leave it to the next speaker.
Thank you, State House candidate Steve Payne. Before our concluding remarks by Alex Moe, I would like to extend a word of gratitude to the St. Paul Capitol and the Historical Society for allowing us to host this event and for supplying this equipment. We do invite you to stay after the rally if you would like to speak with all the candidates who were present today. At this time, I would like to close the rally by inviting our final speaker to the podium. Please help me welcome to the podium State House candidate for Legislative District 32B, Alex Moe.
Thank you, everyone. I'll keep it pretty brief. I know we've all been here for quite a while. I really appreciate those of you who stuck around. It shows a lot that this shows that you are committed to keeping Minnesota from becoming a blue state, from becoming a very California-like state. You've heard a lot about the issues we're talking about, obviously. The state flag being changed without any of our knowledge. I don't know about you, but I never received a survey. I never was talked to or asked by my legislature, who I'm hoping to be replacing, of course. But I never received any sort of ask of, do you want this? Do you want to keep this? Do you want to change it? This is a democracy. The people need to make the choices. And you're going to make that choice by voting out the people who are not respecting your rights or not respecting what you want and what you're asking for. We talked about the illegal immigration issue and the sanctuary state issue. These are very important problems. We have people who are going through the legal and correct process at the border. They're waiting, they filled out the proper paperwork, they're doing the right things. And these are people who probably need asylum way more than the people who are illegally crossing. But they're trying to follow the laws. They're trying to start off on the right note by following the laws to get in here. And those are the people I want in my state. Those are the people I want in my country. Not the people who just don't care about our laws and come across the border anyway, and then people try to say, well, they're not committing any crimes. It's a felony to illegally enter the United States. What crimes aren't they committing? They commit one just by coming in here. And then now there's the Democrat trifecta trying to give them driver's licenses that are indistinguishable from yours and my driver's licenses, which means they can go up and vote, because all they really ask you to vote is a driver's license to confirm your address in Minnesota. And they don't even sometimes ask for that, depending on who's polling at your location. So if we give them these driver's licenses, they're just going to vote for elections. And then we're never going to be able to save our state. This is why it's so important that all of us talk to your friends, your family, your neighbors. Tell them why this is important. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or don't even care about politics. This is important. This is what we need to do to save our state. We need to get involved. The reason the Democrats are doing so well in this state is because they are united on this ridiculous political agenda they have that they're pursuing. We as a party, we as people who want to save the state regardless of what political party you identify as, we need to be united in our efforts to actually stop this from happening. We need to work together, and we need to stop this. We need to save our state. Again, my name is Alex Small, running for 32B. I'd appreciate any support you can give, whether it be financial donations to my website, alexwinforstatehouse.com, whether it be through following my social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, or even whether it's coming to the parades and helping walk in parades. Anything you can do, even if you think it's a small amount, helps tremendously. Thank you all for coming, and have a great rest of your day.